greatest feeling for Rotherham United.
What's got around the back, and Richie Wood has done it again. It's done. It's Georgie Kelly.
Do me a favour, drop me off in Rotherham.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to New York Talk, the Rotherham United podcast. And we have a couple of bits to talk about tonight. We have the midweek cup victory at Salford. Not the most interesting game, but still a few bits to pick up from that. And then we go to South Wales, looking to win for the first time in forever. Down at Cardiff. First of all, Mick's with us. How you doing, Mick?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm not too bad, thank you.
And Steve's back. How you doing, Steve?
All right, sir. All good.
Top stuff. We may have Andrew join us, as is with everything in New York. There are always technical difficulties, but hopefully Andrew will be with us shortly. We have a few people with John Hensby, Steve Gauntlet, Baz is also with us. The Miller Sixers, good evening. We're not really looking forward to Saturday, but we played better when we changed it on Tuesday. So you never know, we could cause a bit of an upset. Yeah, we would. Well, we could hope so. Hope is what we have at the minute. Andrew's with us. How you doing, mate? Can you hear us, mate?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Top stuff. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. I thought I was trying to join on my laptop, but I have no idea. But it's not worked. So I thought it would, but it's a work one, so there's probably some sort of block or something like that.
Probably. Paul Rhodes just recovered from Salford, win on penalties, and sat with Gore's family. They are hilarious. Fair enough. So Mick, 0-0. Again, really not an interesting game to talk about, to be honest with you. But what were your summing up? What was your summing up of the progress of the
I was hoping we were going to take the first 40 minutes to dissect the game minute by minute, but we've done that already, I think. First half was tedious, weren't it? It was tedious. Second half, I thought we were better side in second half, and then when he made the 5 changes, I thought, I like this, you know. We looked positive. We were running at players. We were dangerous. Very, very interesting, really. No strikers on pitch, and we look more dangerous than we'd looked all season, to be fair. So there's some promising players in there, some really, really promising players. But as a performance overall, I think it was pretty poor, really, weren't it?
Yeah, it was, Stephen. But is it one of those where you just say it's cup, so it doesn't really matter how you play? You've just won on penalties, or would you have liked to see a little bit more before the changes?
Obviously, we want to see something that's a little bit better than what we got the first half. I mean, you know, I tend to fall asleep quite easily nowadays, and I was nodding off after about 30 minutes. We just didn't look as though we got any energy about us. We didn't have any dynamism. There was no pace. Everything was ponderous. And as Mick said, the second half, suddenly we took off slower players and put young uns on. And suddenly there was dynamism. There was some pace and some skill as well. I thought Mather was excellent. When you can kind of tame him a little bit, but leave that adventure in him, we've got some talent on that pitch. But yeah, overall it was pretty poor. Quite enjoyed the second half. It kept me awake. And I knew that we'd win the penalty shootout because Dawson saves penalties, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He absolutely does, yeah. We finished the game with no strikers, Andrew. Matt Amshaw said pre-game that he didn't really want to play John Hugo, but he kind of had to. That's a reminder of where we are with injuries. The first show we've done since there's a non-bay injury confirmed. It's multiple months, 2-3 months is the rumor that's going around. That it was good that the changes had an impact, but it shines a bit of a magnifying glass on the squad issues we have at the minute.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big problems. We haven't got much depth, and especially in that area. I mean, McGuckin's come back, but that's 3 out of the 5 strikers that are injured. So I mean, I didn't watch the game. Full disclosure, I didn't watch it. I caught the highlights, and I ended up going to a gig, so I watched the penalties and stuff. But I think the general feeling is that, well, my son said basically that the 3 that came on at the end, they added a bit of sort of life to the game. But against a more sort of team like Cardiff, as an example, as opposed to Salford in a cup game, they'll probably old man that type of thing. But then you could get things like, I mean, Crawley last season didn't have a big lad up front and they ran as ragged. So there's always this option that you can just get 3 young lads running about and cause teams problems. We don't always need to wolf it up top, do we?
No, we don't. No. Just Caswell says, why didn't Martha play as a striker? But he can play there. He certainly can make him. Let's start with Martha. Well, like Pippa mentions, he played basically the whole game. He came off just before the end. But that's our first look at Gianni Martha. And I am very happy. He's very unlucky not to get the goal towards the end. We signed him as a left wing back. He's played the game as a winger, basically. And I think his physicality will hurt him playing centrally for now. But as an attacking player, it was very, very exciting, I thought.
Yeah, it is. And he just you're right. I mean, particularly if we keep going along, then it's pointless, playing him up there. At the moment, till he gets a little bit more sort of bulk about him. But even then, with a player like that, that's not the kind of football you want to be playing anyway. And when you look at the others surrounding him, again, that's not the kind of football you want to be playing. So he looks really exciting, doesn't he? He's more than happy to run at players. His movement off the ball, I've seen as well, is very, very good. But you couple that with his ability to read the game as well. He's expecting other players to make runs, which they should be making, but aren't. So he obviously reads the game well as well. So he is an exciting prospect, one of a few exciting prospects. And I don't care about his age. Get him on there because he will impact a game. He impacted it the other night, and he will continue to do that. So. He should be playing. For me, he should be playing every week.
Yeah, it certainly looks exciting. And also Jack Holmes, Steve, towards the end, Dango came on and Jack Holmes as well. Those non-typical attacking players, non-typical kind of strikers, it really did give Salford something else to think about. So it shows that we haven't got the players to change it up, and that I'm sure he's happy to change it up. If he needs to take the big man off, he'll mix it up with some more technical-minded players. And Jack Holmes was very, very unlucky not to get his first goal.
Yeah.
As well.
We're on the pitch when Holmesy scored, aren't we? I mean, well, not quite. I would have been off the sofa. That's about as far as I'd have gone. But yeah, he was really unlucky with that shot. He just tried to, give the keeper the eyes on the near post, and he hit the post. I mean, but yeah, Holmesy. They're all little gems, and you're hoping that they really do shine at some stage this season. I think, quite rightly, this is going to be work in progress. But there's so much raw talent on that pitch, 4 or 5 of them at least. I mean, Dan Gore's not showed what he can so far, but he had an impact. I mean, he won that free kick, didn't he?
Yeah.
In the middle of the box by a lovely run across the defence. So it's these subtle things, and also it's energy. We need energy in that team. I've seen no energy for 2 years. And, if my team's showing energy and inclination, then, yeah, that's a good step forward for me.
Yeah, I completely agree. And then we'd go to the penalties, Andrew. It was a game of very few chances, to be honest, but then it goes to the penalties. And as Steve mentioned a minute ago, if you've got Cam Dawson, you're in with a hell of a chance of winning a penalty shootout, and he did his job. More than that, probably.
He's got an amazing record at penalties. I remember when we signed him, and the mate's Wednesday fan, he said, "Oh, he's great at saving penalties," and that was
He's Danny too.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know what's happening. I'm having my nightmare. I'm like Danny Arna. Keeps going from Wi-Fi to 4G on my phone. So apologies. My Wi-Fi is normally very reliable. This is my office where I work, and I never have any problems with it. So I don't know what's going on. Anyway, so the penalties. He's a penalty saver. He does that, and he's done it consistently throughout his career. The first save was class. The second one was a third penalty where he's stuck his leg up, but that still takes an amount of skill to be able to see that after you've dove and committed. Very good. And then the penalties we took, Denzel Hall's was a quality penalty. I mean, Dan Gore's was terrible, but it don't matter, we won, so it's irrelevant, isn't it?
Exactly right. Tom Case says, I think he's something like 40% of penalties he's faced as a pro.
That's outrageous. If that's right, that is absolutely outrageous.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Really is.
But yeah, we're through. Make anything else on the penalties before I talk about the draw?
No. I do feel, and I feel like we should be lauding some of these new players a little bit more. You know, I thought Coletta played really, really well when he came on. He's got some real pace about him, and a proper attacking presence. Jack Holmes, as you said, you know, somebody's taking the reins off. I'm sure it's taking the reins off Jack Holmes. You know, that's what you want, Jack Holmes. That's what Steve Evans bought him for, and then stopped him doing it. You know, play with some confidence, play without fear, and run at players. And he frightens players to death. You know, he's got a bit of pace about him as well, but you know, that's that's the kind of thing we need. Denzel Hall was really, really good when he came on. I thought, particularly slotting into a kind of a centre half role, and a few people have mentioned it in the comments. So let's not. We need to keep talking about Lenny, because he is absolute quality, that lad. He really is, you know, and he's 20 years old. He's a baby, and he's not got a lot of physicality about him yet. You know, once he gets a bit of bulk on him, he is going to be some unit, that lad. He can play a ball, he can head a ball. He's got everything that you want from a modern day centre back, and more. So yeah, some of these signings look very, very promising, and a few of them, like I said, showed that on Tuesday night. I really like Coletta. I think he's going to be a good buy, that lad. Definitely.
He's a big unit, isn't he?
Isn't he just? Yeah.
And Denzel Hall, I mean, he's like, when he runs, you think, Christ, look at the state of that. I mean, all right, there wasn't a lot going off, but in the second half, there were a couple of occasions where I just looked and I think, oh, if we can get this team to settle, he's gonna kill some sides. Yeah. But you know, we're at the beginning.
We're at the beginning, very, very beginning, absolutely. We had a few comments saying about Lenny having good games as well. Let me find those comments from Paula, and Nick Newsom says Lenny is the new Woody.
No. Oh, Nick.
We're getting carried away, Steve. It's 3 games in.
He's more of an Ajayi, I think. Yeah, actually, because he can handle the ball. But yeah, he's 20. Let's just let him develop.
Yeah.
I agree. Tom Kay, he says he's got a great attitude at all based on what Paul Davis wrote earlier. Paul Davis said that Lenny was basically putting in extra work with Richard Wood, which again is not. That's a pretty good person to learn from. If you're trying to be a defender, Richard Wood's quite on that list.
So if he was able to get to the ability defending that Richard Wood got to, and but with all the other things that he's got on his game that Richard Wood didn't have, you know, his ability on the ball, his pace, all those things, he will be unstoppable.
Nick Newsom says, "Go on."
No, it's not likely to happen, but you never know. It might though.
Yeah. Newsom says, Ajayi had errors in him. Lenny hasn't. Lenny will definitely have errors in him.
I'm sure he
definitely. The way that he plays, he's going to make errors, Andrew. And it's important. Andrew's gone. He's back. He's gone. Back.
That's great.
Sorry. Better than my personal phone. So there we go. Errors and Lenny was what you were saying, isn't
it? Yeah. He's going to make errors, but he's got kind of a good platform. He's not come in and made an error. He's come in and laid a good platform, and then when these errors do come, he's almost got credit in the bank already. Where I think we're all going to be very patient with Lenny, because we all kind of fall in love with him quite early on.
You get a bit of credit in bank, don't you? If you put in a few decent performances as a young lad, you get a bit of credit in bank. You become a fan favourite, and then you kind of forgive that little mistake here and there. Now, if you concede a goal in the last minute and it's stupid mistake, then you lose a bit of that credit. But he's a young kid, and we've got a lot of them, like Mick says. There's a lot of exciting young kids, and we have to give them that freedom to show what they're capable of. And that will ultimately mean that at times they're going to make mistakes. But us as fans have got a responsibility not to jump on the back.
Mm. Yeah, big time. Then came the draw. Mick, draw was made before the Wednesday night game. Barnsley or Fleetwood. Was the draw. Barnsley then did the same thing as us, except they were at home. They drew against the side in League Two, but they managed to win their shootout. I've seen people poo-poo this a little bit, but I think this is a really, really good draw. We've got a team that we owe big time from last season. It's a local derby. Other than getting Man U, I don't know. It's as good a draw as we could possibly get, really, I think, other than being at home. I
would have preferred it to be at home in a bigger club. Apart from that, yeah, I suppose. I don't like derbies. You know my view on derbies. I can't stand them. So, yeah, whatever. We need to make some money out of the competition, if anything, don't we, realistically? So we would have preferred a Premier League club, but it's what it is, isn't it? Sure would everybody, I guess. So, yeah, all right. I'm as far as that's concerned, to be honest. Don't care.
Does the fact that we not owe them last year, does that not?
Do we?
Because we have to performance at their place.
Well, yeah, but that were down to us, not them. It's not like...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We owe them a performance, really.
Well, maybe we do, yeah. Yeah, maybe we do, I suppose. But yeah, we owe ourselves a performance rather than them.
Yeah, we owe performance in this time.
Yeah.
But are you buying anything I'm selling, Steve, or are you same as Mick?
I don't know what you're selling, frankly. I'm a bit with Mick. I actually would have liked. I don't know whether Tottenham in this. I've never been to Tottenham. Oh, right, that's a shame, because I've never been to Tottenham. Never been to Chelsea. I've been to virtually every other one in my time. But when it came through, I just thought, well, all right, Fleetwood beat us last year and embarrassed us. Barnsley, I can't be bothered with them. I'll watch it on Sky Plus. I'm not quite ready to go, trolling round away grounds at the moment for my time of life. But yeah, it's a bit it's not exciting. But if we get through this one, it'll become exciting, particularly if we get Tottenham. I'm definitely going to Tottenham because I want to go to that ground. And I've never seen... We haven't played them since 1972 in the FA Cup, I think. And my dad went and we lost 2-0 and Alan Gilzine scored. And I've always wanted to go to Spurs and see Rotherham play. Don't know why, but that's it. So we have to beat Barnsley because I want to go to Spurs.
That's fair.
And that's apparently a very Spursy thing to say, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Harry says last time we reached the third round was in 2008, 2009. I think we were the fourth round back then. Andrew, can you find any positive vibe to join me on the side, or are you not bothered?
I'm not quite at Mick and Steve's kind of level of excitement, but a little bit more. I think had it been Fleetwood away, I'd have been, God, that's a pretty the chances are we don't beat Barnsley, do we? Is it 43 years since we last beat him or something like that? But it's a local derby, isn't it? I mean, ultimately, it's a local derby and one we could do with winning. And I've got a Barnsley fan at work who I work with, and he's just got back off holiday. And first thing he did when he got off a plane was send me a message on Microsoft Teams to say that we're playing you in cup. He's obviously quite excited. So it'd be good to win still, but it's not. I'd have preferred Wednesday at home or something like that, I think.
Yeah.
Probably not United after they smashed us 5-0 in that friendly, but a Premier League club at home or Wednesday at home would have been my preference, I suppose.
Yeah, I would have preferred a big team, even Everton at home, something like that, something at home. But yeah, Paul Rose says, living and working in Barnsley, I've got zero interest in this. Fair enough. It's the same week as the Donny games. You've got two derbies in a few days, which is, if we win, then it builds a bit of positivity because you won a derby. If you don't win, they said we can just say it's a cup game. It didn't really matter, can't we? That's 2 weeks' time's problem, which we'll talk about that at the time. I briefly touched on this earlier, Mick, but the Sam Nombe injury news was confirmed 2 to 3 again, 2-3 months is the room, but Matt Hamshaw is only saying months at the moment. That is massive. It also means that we have to, Matt Hamshaw said, he's going to speed up the process of getting a striker in because we just don't have enough. Even if Nombe was here, we still didn't have enough. And we've now got to somehow try and replace Nombe for a period of time as well, which is a big ask. Yeah, it is a big ask. And you're not going to replace him, are you? Well, I say you're not going to replace him. The likelihood of replacing him is pretty small. But yeah, Matt Hamshaw was already dipping into this part of the market anyway. He knew he had to get some reinforcements in that area of the pitch. So I can't imagine that will have changed things massively, other than a bit more urgency is now required, isn't it, to fill that spot. We're just gonna have to sit tight and wait, aren't we? You know, Premier League back this weekend, so I guess there's like the loan market's likely to start to move a little bit, hopefully, because I'm assuming that's where he's going to be looking, and hopefully he's looking upwards in the loan market to top league. You would hope. There's going to be some competition in this, so I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but yeah, it is now urgent, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Could you see? You mentioned one previously, Steve. Do you think because of the injury that we will have to stretch to two, or do you think just one will still be enough with JJ back soon and Hugo still around?
I think he'll probably try for two. I mean, he hinted in his interview after the game on Saturday that he was going to have a word with the board. I mean, what worries me a little bit about Mr. Nombe is that they've not said what it is, but I'm presuming it's a hamstring. Now, the last person who had, and it doesn't seem to be as serious as our previous centre, Humphreys, is that he was out for 3 or 4 months, and then he'd lost a bit of pace. Now, I'm hoping, and this is probably not a very positive thing to say, I'm just hoping that it's not as bad, because I don't want it to take away from his ability, and I hope he ends well. And it's a massive blow. You're absolutely right. I think he's going to go for two myself. He'll try and eke out two from the board. Whether we can afford it or not, I don't know. But they're going to have to, frankly. Yeah, they are. Okay, so at least nobody's going to try and buy him in this window, I suppose. Which is possible. It's positive. Just guys were asking what happened to Ayres. I think he's still around, but if McGuckin's not ready, I would be surprised if Josh Ayres is ready. He was on the bench, I think, on Tuesday, wasn't he? Yeah.
Who was the lad he brought on Tuesday night?
Clark. He looks a unit, doesn't he?
Yeah, doesn't he? I tell you what, he was very, very unlucky not to score. Yeah, a really good save from their keeper in that last minute. You know, he looks a unit and he looks quite handy. Obviously, 5 minutes worth of League Cup action, you can't really tell. But yeah. Anyway, I just wondered. He played in the pre-season friendly. If anybody went, I think it was the Harrogate game. If anybody went to the Harrogate game, I'm pretty sure it was the assist to the assist, the sort of ball at the top to Nombe's pull back to Hugo, I think. If anybody went to that game, put us in the comments. Because I think that was him. I can't remember if it's Lewis or Jake or something like that. There were two, weren't there? Anyway. Big lad. Yeah. Yeah, it is. Then this kind of brings us on to the Cardiff game, Andrew. I'd be amazed if the striker coming in tomorrow. Obviously, Tete's out. It would have been out anyway, so whether Tete is injured or not is irrelevant. We changed the game with those non-physical strikers. Could you see that starting Saturday, or would you expect it to go back to Hugo and plus somebody else?
I think it'll probably be Hugo and another, won't it? Maybe McGuckin start again. I think the biggest worry is it's just where the goals are going to come from without Nombe, and I appreciate we're going to go out there and get a couple of players, but if one of them's a Premier League loan, what's the chances that they're going to hit the ground running and score loads of goals? I mean, that is likely, isn't it? So they're not going to be in for the Cardiff game. I do worry about the Cardiff game. I think we're still a work in progress, and it feels like we could have done without playing somebody Cardiff so early. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how they've started. I know they won the first game, didn't they? Against Plymouth, was it? And
they beat Peterborough 3-2 and drew 0-0 against Port Vale away.
I knew it began with P, so
Yeah.
it's got part of it. But yeah, so I don't know. We never do well down there anyway, either, do we? So I'm quite negative thinking about it. I've already wrote my prediction down as well in corner at screen. So yeah, I just think I feel like it might become a bit too soon, especially with strikers. I think it's going to be a tough 90 minutes.
Yeah, 1998 was our last victory in Cardiff, a 1-0 win. I'll put this out there for a minute. Does anybody know who scored the goal in their win in 98?
98.
Alan Lee.
No,
Too
early.
Too early. I was going to say Johnny Mullin, but that's too early as well.
Yeah. We'll give the comments a chance to
work
their magic as well.
Yeah.
I'll come to you, Mick, and then I'll tell you what. I'll put you all out of your misery in a minute. You spoke to Tom yesterday on the scouting, which is the scouting report, which is out tomorrow. Let everybody know what Tom said, what can expect from the Bluebirds on Saturday.
Pretty much very similar to us in the sense that they feel that they're also a work in progress. They've got a young side. They've lost a few players since the drop. Aaron Ramsey's gone, and various other sort of championship level players, I guess you could say. But I think they seem to have hit the ground running a little bit more than we have, because the changes that they've made have not been as wholesale as ours. So I think they're pretty confident going into it. But you just never know, do you? You just never know. I think, I'm saying that. I'm trying to be positive. Yeah, of course, you know. It's Cardiff. We're going away to Cardiff. It'll be a terrible game, because it always is at Cardiff, and we'll lose. I don't know. Yeah, listen, they're reasonably confident, but you know, we talked about playoffs and promotion and what their expectations were, and I don't think that they are necessarily targeting or expecting as supporters automatic. So yeah, we'll see. You never know, dear. It depends very much on who we play.
Yeah, they're on a bit of a rebuild. Brian Barry Murphy is his second professional job. I think he managed Rochdale as they plummeted out of the Football League, so he's not got a managerial pedigree necessarily. I think he's a very, very highly thought after coach. Mike the Miller, league lover with the only goal in Ninian Park back in 1998. It's well done, Mike. A long time ago that we got that one. But Tom Case says we've both had new stadiums since we've had two different stadiums since we last beat them. We started on Tuesday, Steve, with a 4 as a back at the back. Because I assume I don't think he wanted to risk Raggett, which was just completely understandable. So the question then becomes: do you think he'll do it? It was kind of a 4-3-3. I think we started with, ending with a more like a 3-5-2. Which one do you think's more? Because Hugo fits into both, which I think we'll see Hugo. Which one do you think's more likely? Bear in mind, Raggett might be risked then.
I actually think he'll probably start with Raggett. I mean, he might start with Raggett on Tuesday if he hadn't played him on Saturday. So he's probably not at the level where he can play 2 in a week, but he is an experienced centre-back, and I know Mick doesn't rate him, but I think he will. And he'll probably start with Hugo. But I think as much as he holds the ball, he slows the side down, frankly. And it's only when he went off, he suddenly looks a bit lively. So I think he'll play Raggett, and I think he'll play Hugo as well. And then you perm anyone from another 9 down the middle. I mean, Powell will definitely play. I'd like to see Jack Holmes start down one of the wings. Denzel will definitely play. And Lenny, of course, and Cameron. But you know the team. Can I just say that I have actually been to Cardiff and we haven't lost. We drew 2-2, and I can't remember when it was exactly, but it wasn't that long ago, probably in the last 10 years. Equally, I was there the year after or something, and we got done 4 or 5-0. Me and the lad took an early exit to go to the railway station. But I'll look the 2-2 up. I've definitely been when we ain't lost.
Yeah, I've been to a 0-0 there. But yeah, it's not happy underground. John Fellow says, what about some positivity? Hugo scoring against the former club. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he play for Cardiff?
Very badly and briefly. I don't think he got many goals for them, if any. Am I right in saying he got one? Not his worst lows. I think his worst low was to West Brom, and they really don't like him. 4 goals in 18 games.
That's better than ours.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
What's his 7 in God knows how many?
11 league goals in 80 odd games.
Better record for Cardiff then.
Yeah, exactly. Joshua Caswell said we should be playing a 4-3-3 and have Holmes in Martha on the wings, Hugo in the middle. I wouldn't be surprised to see that Andrew McGuckin started on Tuesday, but I don't think he'll start McGuckin. But the problem I have is 4-3-3 is you don't fit Rafferty and Denzel Hall into that, and I think he would like to play both of those unless you really put Hall as like an third attacking winger. What do you think about that?
Sorry, gents. I don't know what happened there. Can you hear me now? Sorry.
Yeah,
you're back, right.
This is it's terrible. McGuckin, talking about McGuckin and what they're going to start with. I think he's just not got. I just don't think he's got it at this level. I think he's probably a decent League Two conference player, and I'd like to be proven wrong, but I just don't think he's got it at this level. So I think you will possibly see Hugo start up top on his own with that kind of 4-3-3 formation that we've had in the past and starting up front.
Okay. Danny's gone again.
We're getting there. We are definitely getting there. Tom Kay says Buckham doesn't seem to get involved enough in the few games that he's had. Josh Caswell says Raff and Lenny as your back two mix. If you did play, for me, if you play the reason I said about Raff is if you're playing a 4, which means 2 centre halves, you go Lenny and Jules. For me, that you've got to do that. Rafi, I like Rafi as centre half, but he isn't a centre half. We all know he's a right back or a right sided number 3. I would be unhappy with Raff and Lenny as your 2 centre halves if that's what you had to go for. Andrew's back, mate. How you doing, Andrew?
I'm sorry about this. Ridiculous. Never.
We'll get there. Go on, Mick.
If you play a back 4, it is difficult to fit Rafferty in there. I agree with that. But if you just put him at right back,
but in Hall,
you play Denzel Hall further forward then,
possibly,
because it gives you more options in midfield. So I don't want to see Raggett back. I'm sorry. Let's have him on bench, in case anybody gets injured. But for me, no, that's an absolute no, because the players that have played in the games when in the Port Vale game and the Salford game have acquitted themselves better for me than he did in the Stevenage game. It's just not for me. It's just not an option. I'm sorry, I know, and I feel like I'm digging him out, but we have got better options, much better options in my view. It's anybody's guess, obviously, who he's going to play and the formation. I can't see him going to a back 4 necessarily to start with. I just can't see that happening. Maybe he will, but I think he'll go 3-5-2 again or 3-5-1-1.
Yeah. I think it's right. Josh Campbell says he doesn't trust Lenny. It doesn't trust Jules. Sorry, I don't think Lenny and Jules will work together. I'd rather have Lenny and Raggett. Interesting. Onto the midfield, Steve. Drew Yearwood got through his first 90 minutes in a very, very long time on Tuesday. I thought he did very, very well, and that then brings into question what you do on Saturday, because I like what Kelly's done for us, but Yearwood just gives you those legs. It just gives you that energy that Kelly doesn't. So this is the big decision, really. What he brings. For me, I would be putting Yearwood in to start again if he can cope for the 90.
I'd agree with you because, as you say, it gives you a bit of liveliness. Kelly's a lovely footballer, but again, it slows the game down. And if it's going to be that horrible at Cardiff, we need somebody who's going to break the lines. And Yearwood actually is very mobile and quick. So I'd give it a chance. I mean, he's got to keep, I think, we're in the experimental stage. And he's not settled on his midfield totally yet, has he? So, yeah, I'd definitely give him a go alongside Powell.
Yeah.
Certainly. Dan Gore would, of course, play for me just in front. Then you'd have Hugel and McGuckin up top, as a starting point. But you've always got the lads off the bench as well.
Yeah, and Nick Usman's Kelly would be a backward step, which is interesting. Andrew, what do you think to that midfield? Powell's your shoe-in because he's Joe Powell and he plays. What else could you see as in that midfield three, assuming we do play three in midfield?
Well, as I say, Yearwood, Powell. I'd like to see Holmes as well. So I'm pushing towards 4-4-2, but in a kind of a diamond. You've got to have a bit of pace on the wing backs. Denzel would definitely play for me. Yeah. But the problem, as you said, is Rafferty, and I don't know how we'd get him in, frankly.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see.
Yeah. And then another question, Andrew, becomes Martha. Martha had a good game on Tuesday. How do you shoehorn him in? If let's say 3-5-2, do you put him up top instead of McGuckin because he can't play there, or do you put Martha for James, which again is a big ask in the away game against a tough team?
It feels like he'd be far too inexperienced to play where James, for his faults, at least he's a steady Eddie, isn't he? He's at least he's a consistent performer. And I just feel like Martha would be more suited to an attacking role. So if you're going to play him, you've got to play like a free up top, and you play him off Hugel with Holmes. I don't think he fits as he might have been brought in as a left wing back, but at the moment, I don't think he's suited to that role. He looked lively when he came on against Stevenage as well. Like, he did try to make stuff happen. So there's a player, I do like him, but he's an attacking threat at the moment as opposed to defensively.
Impact sub, maybe. I mean, he played the whole game on Tuesday, Andrew, and he was always a threat. He kept picking the ball up relatively deep, and then he'd end up, because either he had no options or he made the wrong decision. He was going up a few blind alleys sometimes, but he'd always beaten one or two men before he fell over. So that's a positive.
Yeah. The only thing Tom Case says is Martha would get roughed up at Cardiff. That's the only criticism I have from him on Tuesday, that if he's going to be a success in England, he needs to be a little bit braver. He neshes too many tackles. And I know it's difficult to compare him to something like Chio, but Chio was happy to get cleaned out. How many times did Chio get cleaned out in tackle? He was kind of happy to take the foul, whereas Martha's, I don't know if something you can learn. It's bravery. So I don't know if it's something you can kind of teach yourself to not nesh the tackles, Mick, but he has got to get better. Early days, I'm not digging him out, but I just thought it was just a little thing that stood out for me a little bit.
He's very young and he's very skinny. He's not got the bulk that Chio had. And so Chio loved the challenge, loved the tackle. To be fair with Martha, there's a lot of defenders in this division who won't get near him anyway. So yeah, he is going to get rattled. He is going to get clobbered. That's the nature of playing in League One, and that's he'll get used to that. For me, he plays. He's an exciting player, and if you can get him on that pitch, you get him on that pitch because he will cause problems, as he's proved. He's already proved what he's capable of. Well, he's given indications of what he's capable of. I don't think he's come anywhere close to having a game that's up there with the level of his ability yet. So. For me, he plays, and he'll get clattered. Of course he will. That's football, and he'll get used to that. I'm sure he got clattered in Holland. A player of that type is always going to do, aren't they? That's the nature of that type of player. So now get them all on. All these young lads, bin off oldies like me. Get young ones on. They'll get there eventually, and when they do, then they'll create a decent side, a really, really decent side in this division, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Time for somebody to get a settled side, the team to gel together. Swan. Yeah, absolutely right. We need to stop getting people injured. for that to happen. Right, ref watch, and this will cheer everybody up. The referee for Saturday afternoon is Thomas Parsons, and you may be thinking that name sounds familiar because it does. He was the referee when we lost to Reading last year with the Hugo goal disallowed, the Nombe goal disallowed, and the penalty late on as well. Anything to add on that, Mick?
Not till post match, no.
I say bring back Trevor Kettle.
He's lads refereeing now, isn't he?
I'm going to say he's women's refereeing, isn't he? So we've got the Kettle Part 2 to worry about.
The referee on Saturday at Stevenage was Durkin's lad, weren't it?
My dad texts me and says, "Is that Paul Durkin?" He's about 93.
Yeah,
but no, it's his lad.
Yeah, it's his lad. Yeah,
You got the same knees. I'm a cognoscenti on refs' knees, you know.
Just Cashflow, God, dodgy penalty for Cardiff and Hugo red card. Paul Rhodes, no, he was an idiot. To be fair, it may have just been Reading because we always get stinkers at Reading, so hopefully it's just a Reading thing.
Possibly big ground, big club in inverted commas. They'll get their decisions, won't they?
Probably. They probably will. John S. says, can I say Mick rant incoming already? I think that's likely. It's pretty likely, to be honest with you. Right, let's... Oh, we've seen the Premier League, by the way, clamping down and pulling from corners. So we'll see if that filters down to the Football League.
About 10 minutes. 10 minutes at the last.
Yeah.
Correct. Right, prediction time. A long time since we've beat Cardiff, as we've mentioned, at Cardiff anyway. Mick, start with you. What do you reckon?
I'm going to be positive. Stuff it. I'm going to put. We're 2-1 to Rotherham. I think that's stupid. I think it's probably one of the most stupid things I've ever said, and that's a long list. Let me tell you.
Absolutely not. It's not even close. It's not even top 3.
But yeah, I'm going to go with that. Stuff it.
Okay, fair enough. Steve.
Well, I can't say 1-0 anymore because Nombe's arse isn't playing.
Yeah.
So we're going to go 1-1.
1-1. Okay.
Change for the first time.
And Andrew, what do you reckon?
I'm going to be negative. I just can't see us getting anything. So I'll be realistic and say we'll lose 2-0. First ever live prediction, and I've gone for a defeat.
Understandable.
You're getting the hang of this already, mate. You're getting it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to say I'm going to get other people predict. I can't see us winning this one just because of everything we've talked about. I'm going to go 2-1 to them. I think it'll be not a very interesting game. I think it'll be pretty dull, but I think they'll just about nick it. Mike says lose 2-0. Terry Fimmer says 2-0 to Hammy's Babes. Paula Rhodes says my first trip to Cardiff, 3-2 to us. Hugo hat trick. She's had a
how many gins?
Yeah. Andrew Barlow, get rid of Andrew. No negativity on here. Yeah. So there we are.
Again, the old gits are the most positive ones on the predictions.
Yeah.
Hey?
It's true.
Stick with it, Steve. Stick with it, mate.
It's rubbing off.
Yeah. I've taken up everything off the list. The Salford game was that bad. I'm only quite happy that there's a midweek game because we have loads more to talk about. There really weren't much to talk about from that Salford game. The only other thing to mention is the Burton game has been called off on Tuesday because their game at Tranmere was called off because they had a power cut. That, I'll be honest, Andrew, that feels like a good thing because of our injuries, because we need signings. It feels like a good thing that we're going to play in whatever, September, October time.
It does feel like a good thing in terms of getting players back. I was slightly disappointed because I do like an evening match under lights in summer, still mild. So I'm a little bit disappointed from that point of view. But from a squad point of view, it'd be better to play them when we've got a few players back and we've gelled a bit as well. I think one game later on where we've gelled a little bit and be more positive for us.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah,
Agree.
definitely.
Is there anything else we want to mention, fellas?
No, I don't think so.
I was going to mention that wisecrack that Ami made about Tangor and the penalty, and I thought it was really, really funny. And then all of a sudden, there's quite a few that took it the wrong way, and you think, what happened to humour nowadays? Seriously, come on.
Yeah.
You know what it is, Steve? They'll probably get crucified for this, but it's
Well,
the people
no
who love
doubt, but who gives a...
Yeah, the people who love Steve Evans and the people who didn't see anything negative in him will then jump on that because it's Steve Evans would say something like that and it'd be taken as a negative. So that's what it is, and people are seeing as so it's a bit about what about isn't it? That's what it is. But it's something over. And
if Evans had said that, I'd have found it funny.
Yeah,
no, it's like when he said that Holmes had been signed for the price of a Chinese. I thought, that's quite funny.
Yeah. There's a difference between making a flippant, humorous comment and actually downright slagging your players off in public. They're two different things, and I think people are not quite grasping that.
I mean, one of the quotes you read out from one of our listeners was about having sat with Mr. Gore's parents and said they were hilarious. So, it doesn't strike me as it's going to bother Dan Gore if he's got hilarious parents.
It's about management is about understanding who you're managing. So there'll be players that he couldn't do that to, and there'll be players that he can do that to. You know how to manage the people that are working for you. So he's not a daft bloke, he's Ami. He knows what we can say that about and who we can't say that about.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a bit sneaky from Paul Davis as well, that weren't it? His tweet sneaky. Remove any context from it and then put the tweet out and wait for the clicks to come in. A bit sneaky, that one.
I just didn't see it at all. I just saw it. I saw it came up for me by somebody quote tweeting it about people being upset about it. And I go into it and see people. Anyway.
It's just a bit. I'm too old to get upset about stuff like that.
Yeah,
I've got all
like it.
I've got all them stand up. Never mind, put up with social media. Honestly.
Yeah.
Very funny. Well done, Happy.
Yes.
Come on.
Josh Caswell says the grading interest. Yeah, this is the interest from the Fleetwood striker that we were linked with in the summer that Matt Hampshire said we weren't interested in. That has now resurfaced. I think we're better off just leaving that as it is. Number one, I don't know too much about him, and number two, it was kiboshed earlier, and so I don't know if it's kind of a lazy rumour that's coming back. We'll see what happens with that one. But hopefully it comes soon.
Prolific, I had a little Wikipedia look before, and he's not exactly prolific, but that's happened in the past where we put players in and they've not scored many goals. I always revert back to the Michael Smith thing. Not wanted by Bury in their reserves, and he's probably up there one of the best we've had.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. So yeah, let's see what happens. Paul Rose on that and Simon Dango said they were brilliant. His nan couldn't watch the pens. I had to break it to her. His dad's a brilliant character in Stitches. Brilliant. To be fair, if there's somebody I've met Paul a few times. If somebody was going to give me bad news, I'd want Paul to give it me. She's absolutely lovely. So yeah. Right. Knock it on head. Thank you, everybody who has been with us tonight. We will be back on, the instant reaction. Well, start again. Tomorrow, the scouting report will be out. That'll be Mick, who took my place for that this week. Spoke to Tom. It's fine, Mick. It's quite good, Mick. It's good. Thank you. I've had the pleasure of watching it already. So that'll be out tomorrow morning. I'll put some tweets out about that. We'll then be back Saturday evening, which will be the instant reaction. Which again, I think it's going to be me and Mick probably for that one. And then we'll be back Sunday evening, which will be the full review show on Sunday. Matt Miller says, blimey, this must be a record wrapping up after 48 minutes. It is. I can give you, if you like, some car park chat. Now, this is normally Mick's area of expertise, but I am sat looking across from a car park. Would you like to see the car park over there? So I'll put my picture a little bit bigger. There we go. We're at the car park, everybody. There we go.
Oh,
Mick doesn't normally show us his car parks, which is disappointing. So there we go. That's
is that a coastal car park?
Is it what? Sorry,
that's a coastal car park.
It is Whitby Car Park. That one.
All right. Yeah.
Nice. No, you've upset Mike. He was upset that you're wrapping up early. Now he wants you to wrap up because you're talking about car parks.
We live to please, Mike. We live to please. If you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe on YouTube for the upcoming episodes that we've got already. If you've enjoyed tonight's episode on YouTube, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you're one of the over 200 people watching on X, make sure you followed us and get over to YouTube as well to subscribe. Again, for these future episodes will all be on YouTube, only on YouTube. So get over to check that out. If you're listening on iTunes, Spotify, make sure you have followed, subscribed, whatever it allows you to on those platforms. We will see everyone next time. Thank you, Mick. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you for watching. See you next time. And as always, up the Millers.
Up the Millers.
See ya.
Comes for more. 2 for Jensen, 2 for Rotherham. Shoots. Ravel. Vicious, but brilliant. The sweetest feeling for Rotherham United.
What's got round the back? And Richie Wood has done it again. It's done. It's Georgie Kelly.
Do me a favor, drop me off in